do some questions here. Oh, okay. All right, Greg. So, do you feel wronged?
Do I feel wrong? Yes. I feel like if I could have fought it enough, or if I had enough resources, I could have kept fighting it in court, and I would have. If I could put it in front of a jury, we would beat all of this stuff because we could prove to everybody what it is. But so far, nobody's heard our side of the story. Very few people know the truth, and that's what this documentary is about: is to get the truth out there. Right now, a handful of people know it. But once they took this arrest away from us, or this the Port Nicholson, does that mean anybody else can go get it? They also told Mission Recovery, the guys that started their own company, our partners, that they couldn't go out and get it either. So, that sounds to me like, Britain's talked to the United States and they decided nobody can do it.
What side of the story do people know right now?
All they know is what the newspaper and the television has said, that we scammed our investors, we scammed my partner, and made him believe this. Well, my partner, if anybody knows John Hardy Sr., he's passed away. He was, besides being my partner, he was a good friend of mine, and I held his hand just before he died, and he still said, "How is the ship?" And he was dying. I mean, he was a big part of this, and everybody that knows John Hardy knows he wasn't a stupid man. He could see through somebody scamming him, because we ran into a lot of people that tried to scam us, and we're Christians, and we don't scam people. And John, anybody that knows him knows that he wouldn't be with me if I was a bad person. And
Starting these stories of the scam, like, why are they doing it?
well, why is, it's like, let's say this one woman, she's put in $5,000. She was with a group. She put her $5,000 in a group, and they came up with enough, the group did, to buy a unit in private placement thing into the company, into the salvage. And she never called me up, never did anything, but she drove by my house, and she saw a few cars out there and said I had a brand new Corvette in the yard, and all these things. Like, well, we got a 1998 Camaro, a 1998 Jaguar. I mean, they're $3,000-$4,000 cars. I don't have nothing new, but people just assume that. And if you don't ask the questions, you assume things. And that's what these people are doing. They're assuming that because they saw Bill Green, or Eric Russell from the Portland Press Herald. He writes a piece. Well, they assume it's true. And then they start working things in the mind. Well, that's why it's taken so long, because he's been in Vegas and living high off the hog and all of this. Well, none of it's true. And the people that are still here today, or still, have put up money for legal things, they know the truth, and they're still here.
How does Eric Russell benefit from reporting that on you?
Good story. It's a good story. When you take a story that's this huge, with governments involved, and if you're asked to do something, I don't know that he was asked, but it just seems awful strange that he wouldn't use anything that my engineers sat down and talked to him with, or anything else, but he used pieces of a deposition from our ROV pilot, who threatened me to the rest of the crew, that said he will screw me over one way or another. But Eric Russell used some of his testimony and put that out there, but not the people that are still working with us. So you have to look at these things and say,
This is Kevin.
Yes. Oh, he is. He was talking to the guy that started Mission Recovery and didn't tell anybody. He had lots of phone calls with him, I found out later. And I found out part of the reason the ROV broke down all the time. He tried to keep saying it was Brian that was doing it. Well, who was in the ROV trailer all the time?
We won't use that.
Yeah. But, yeah, he is.
Do you regret spending so much time and money on finding this?
Do I have any regrets? None. Other than probably we shouldn't have made it so public, but what happened last time when we was down in the Florida Keys, we kept it quiet, and the United States government had Spain come in and file a claim against us. We kept that one quiet, so and we got pounded on. So I wanted to let this be known everywhere so that we'd have public opinion, and maybe that would help us through this one. Well, that didn't work out either. So you can't keep it quiet and you can't tell people. So I don't know, hook onto the wreck and drag it to a different country? I don't know. All I know is that we try to do everything by the letter of the law. And it doesn't always work out for you when you do that. But
The whole thing seems to be you versus multiple governments. Can you comment on the David and Goliath aspect of it?
well, you know, you have 5 years of litigation with the British. Got astronomically expensive, time-consuming, emotional. You have 2 American lawyers working for the British government who don't care about starving kids in Maine or any place else. They don't care about any of that stuff. All they care is about what they're doing for the British government. They know that the British government haven't proved it, yet they're fighting for them because they're getting their hourly fees. And they racked up some fees, I can tell you. So did my attorneys. So we fought them for 5 years. And then the U.S., whether the British government contacted them or not, I don't know, but it seems logical because the British couldn't stop us. So what's the next best? What's your next step? Contact your ally and say, we've been trying to get these people stopped. Can you do it? Can you help us out? I don't know that they did that, but it seems logical to us because here we are. The British hasn't proven it. We've went through deposition after deposition, and they have not brought any documentation forward that says that they have a legitimate claim. And then the next thing we know, they're busting down my door. Now, yes, that's over the documents, or theoretically, but I mean, if somebody forged a document, why would you have, armed militia or whatever, not militia, but armed law officers pounding at your door, aiming guns at your head over a document? I mean, is that logical?
I had a question and I just forgot it. It was a point.
Oh, that happens to me constantly.
Okay, I will try to remember it, and I will go to another one. Did you trust your lawyers during this whole process?
I had no choice. Trusting attorneys. I think that they do more than they actually have to, but that's another thing is coming down to making more money. Most of our attorneys had a piece of the pie, meaning that they would do the legal part of it for a percentage. Yet they also got an hourly rate, even though they said they discounted their hourly rate. We still paid many, many hundreds of thousands of dollars to attorneys. So I don't really care much for attorneys because they always have their hand in your pocket, but they're necessary evil.
Who's left to help you now that you've lost your attorney-client privileges? Who's on Greg Brooks' side now?
My attorney that I had here in Portland, and we probably shouldn't say his name right now, but I owe him some money. But he's a great guy. He stayed through this long after anybody else did. And if I called him up today, he would help me in whatever. And I want to make sure that he does get paid for what he's done. But he stood behind this thing and fought the British. I mean, quite harshly. He did a good job.
Do you have any other support coming from people not lawyers?
At this point, right now, everything's in limbo because of this thing with the raid and taking all our documentation. And I mean, they took my VA papers and my Social Security stuff. I mean, they took everything, and they've never returned it. So.
Do you think if the public can see your side of the story that they'll understand better?
Right, because all they've heard is one side. And when you hear one side, everyone knows there's two sides to a story. Okay, you hear one side, and I guess after a while you start believing it because you haven't heard any defense on it. And people will say, oh, well, he hasn't defended himself, so he must be guilty. No, what it is all your attorneys, every one of them told me not to say anything to the press. Don't talk to them. Don't put anything out there because they're just going to twist it and use it against you, which, they're pretty good at that. And so I haven't up until this point, and now I'm looking at it like, it's going on. I don't know how long I got left on this planet. I'm getting older every day, and I want to get this accomplished one way or the other. And I want people to know that we set out to do this as best and legally as we could, and we still want to do it. And let us go out there and prove it. That's the key. We'll go out there, recover it. That tells the whole story, doesn't it?
Do you think if you got the opportunity to go back there, you could find it?
Oh yeah. If two things happen, the court gives us it back, and they let me work with partners to get this thing done. We had partners all the way up to the very end, and then when these document things hit the airwaves, they couldn't justify continuing on because of the legal implications. So they pulled out. But I had another group that was out of the UK that wanted to get involved. They were willing to get involved. So we asked the judge for a 30-day extension. He wouldn't give it to us. After 5 years of litigation, he wouldn't give us 30 days?
What would you do if you found it? Does Greg Brooks care about starving children in Maine?
Well, I've said it to everybody who's asked the question, and in some of the interviews, is there's more starving kids in Maine than people realize. Well, with what my share of it would be substantial because I'm the one that put it all together. But, how much money do you need? You don't need that much. Make sure that the kids in Maine are fed. There would be no kids that go to bed hungry in this state anymore. And I'd see to that. One way or the other, I'd see to it. And I have I have a big piece of my heart in Haiti, and there's lots of starving kids down there. But that would take a lot more money than I got. So I'd start with Maine and then work towards Haiti.
I was thinking about the aid missions you did, the 3 aid missions. Maybe you should mention those that you took the ship to do after Katrina and Rita. You went down and brought aid to them, and also Haiti after the earthquake. He brought 200 tons of aid.
It's a good tie-in, yeah.
Yeah, that just shows that I was a good guy.
Yeah.
Just maybe mention that.
You want me to say it?
Yeah.
Okay.
How would you describe yourself in the way you treat your business as like an aid?
Well, it's like back just after Hurricane Katrina happened. Besides going, wait a minute, back up. When we went to Haiti, we used to bring down food supplies, clothes, medicines, and things like that. When we went back and forth, way back, years ago, and then Hurricane Katrina hit, and I had a friend who was a helicopter pilot, and he had told me that they had just got into New Orleans, but the lower parishes hadn't been touched. No aid of any kind had got there, and people were starving to death and no water, nothing. So I had a ship sitting down in Florida. I said, well, let's figure something out. And another guy called me from Florida, and we got together, and we brought our ship up from Key West to the St. Pete, Florida, and we had a big press thing going on. We're saying we're going to take up some aid up into the Mississippi and get it donated to people who need it. And the outpouring of the public was great. They brought down soaps, baby supplies, water, just all kinds of stuff. Then we had so much of it, we got another ship involved, and they loaded that up, and off we went, and we went up the Mississippi, and we stopped at the first few parishes, and they hadn't had any aid whatsoever. And we offloaded that, and then we went in to see the devastation, and it was unbelievable. But then we went up. Hurricane Rita came right behind Hurricane Katrina, and so we had to go up the Mississippi farther, up into New Orleans, and it was quite a little adventure. But anyways, so we brought up as much aid as we could down there, and what did I get out of it? Satisfaction that we could help some people. I had a boat sitting there that, was doing nothing. Let's use it. Let's use it. And the same thing after the earthquake in Haiti when all those people died. We got together with the people in Maine and Massachusetts, put over 200 tons of supplies on the Sea Hunter and sailed it down and got it to the south coast of Haiti to this orphanage that fed so many people. It was just great. It was hard work. It was one of the toughest things I've ever done in my life. But we did it, and we accomplished it.
It's important to you to help people.
Yes, it is. I mean, if you're able to, you should. That's what we're here for, is help as much as you can.
Just because we only have 6 minutes left, I'm going to ask you a couple more big questions here. Do you trust your government?
You can't ask that question, Nick. You want me killed. Do you trust it? I don't know that. That's a tough one, though. That is a tough one because you could get yourself in lots of trouble for that. What I think is whether I trust them or distrust them, I don't know. I don't think that, overall anybody's out there to, to bury me or kill me or anything else. But, there's certain parts and that, don't report to other parts. And there's so many parts of the government's so big, nobody knows what anybody's doing. And I think that, they're just blind to some things, and that they should look a little closer at. If there's top secret material on board that they don't want let out, just tell me. I'm a patriot. I was in the Marine Corps in Vietnam. When I got out of there, I joined the Army. I'm a patriot as well as any person on this planet, if not more. And so I wouldn't bring any war secrets out that shouldn't be out there. I'm not looking for war secrets. I'm looking for bullion, and so I think that things have got twisted. If that's the case, just tell me, and I'll back off of that part of it. I don't need to bring that to light if that's the case, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to do that. But
would you consider this wreck your dream or your life mission, and do you feel like it's been taken away from you?
Yes. What happened was, it's like I've worked on other shipwrecks, and no, we haven't made any major recovery. We made some small recoveries and, made a little bit of money here and there, but nothing like this. This is something that, other ones have been found, like it was used the Garasopa. So many hundreds of millions of dollars worth of silver was found on that. And Odyssey Marine recovered it. And but they spent, it was on their documentary, it says that they spent $100 million to recover it. And I can see that because it's very expensive to do it. Well, we've spent less than 8. And so, you go 100 million or 8, well, the equipment differences that you can buy are astronomical. And so, yes, I want to get that more than anything. That's my dream, because that will, my dream of recovering it would be fulfilled. Feeding the kids in Maine would be fulfilled, and helping people in Haiti would be fulfilled. And that's, I don't need him to say Greg Brooks did it. It just do it. And all our partners and investors will get their share. And I've succeeded in what I started out at.
Is it realistic that you'll get the chance to do that?
I'm hoping that I will. That's why I think with our story out there and people see that we have a different side than what the Press Herald or the news stations put out there. Here, look at this, and then make your decision. Don't just go because you read it in the paper that it's true. I mean, we all know lately that the press, the media is biased as hell. They put stories out there that don't belong there. I mean, the media is not the best place in the world anymore. People don't trust them.
So basically you're doing this so you can achieve your dream.
Correct. I want to achieve my dream, and I'm going to do that one way or the other, or die trying.
And then finally, because we only have 3 minutes left, what can you do to accomplish that? To give their story an ending your project?
What I can do to accomplish that is once we get, we'll say, public attention, to look at the public attention away from the negative and look at the positive, then we can get the help we need to finish this project.
Cool. All right, we'll cut.
she's flashing like hell.